Hey guys, what's up? My name is Vince, licensed clinical social worker, and today we're going to be talking about being enough. Okay. I hear this affirmation all the time, which is a good affirmation. Like, I am enough. A lot of people don't feel like they're enough. And that's a big issue, right? Self esteem problems. But saying that you're enough is not enough without the action behind it. Like saying it is a good start, but if you say it without believing it, then how does it help you? You're going to be living in a contradiction. You're going to feel even worse that you're not living up to the standard that you're setting. That is at the very minimum enough, right? Um, so that's why I'm like accountability is very important when we're talking about feeling enough. I think, and that's the thing. Like action has to always be taken. Always has to be taken. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but like if you don't feel enough and you're acting in that such a fashion, right? Like that would make you assume or think that you're not enough, then of course you're not going to be enough. If you're not feeling enough because someone else is telling you you're not enough, like you're gonna have to think about, is their opinion that important? Like that you're gonna take it so seriously and like it's gonna rattle you, you know it's gonna make you not be yourself. You have to ask yourself, why are you giving that power away to that person? Why are they able to do this to you so easily, just throw you off your block? Like, why do you get your self-esteem from this person? Like, when they tell you you're doing good, then you're good, and when they tell you you're doing bad, then you're bad. Do you want to live like that? Do you want to give someone that much control over you? Feeling enough. And I'm not saying it's easy, right? And I like the affirmation, like I am enough. It's a good affirmation. People should use it. I think I don't say that to myself. I use other affirmations. Uh, but being enough is like you're making a point to say that you're not lacking, right? There's a difference between feeling like that and then just saying it and like intellectually just acknowledging that you're saying it. Like moving yourself to that feeling, like a genuine feeling, is important. Because like if you're inauthentically doing that, how is it going to help you? Like for example, I'll give you an example. Like someone saying that they're enough and they are like cheating on their partner frequently, and then they like have anxiety and depression because they're freaked out that their partner is going to find out, for instance, assuming they even have empathy for their partner if they're doing that kind of stuff. Like that to me would be like not very helpful, incongruent. Like you're going to have to jump through some hoops in your mind to justify your actions, you know what I mean? um but when the affirmation is there with the action behind it, that's good. Okay. I think a lot of people think that they're not enough because they're comparing themselves to other people. But I think that's super unfair. Everyone comes from a different place, cultural background, different life experiences. Like, you can be one of my siblings, right? And we can grow up at the same time. Say we were like twins. We would still have distinctly different beliefs and like the different directions we're going in our lives, right? So it's hard to compare. It's to me, it's hard to compare. It's hard for me to compare against other people because even if they are better than me, they might just be better. That's okay. I don't need to be better than them. I just need to be good enough for me, right? So if that's a thing, like if you're giving away your power by comparison, that's not going to make you feel good enough, right? And I guess in certain situations, like say like you're an athlete or something, like where you do need to compare yourself against other people and it does determine whether or not like you're the best or whatever, or, what team you're going to go on. In those circumstances, sure, like you might have to do that. Like it's a little bit different. But in the day to day things like your work and your job and your marriage, like you don't have to compare against your neighbors. Like you didn't live your neighbor's life. You don't have, some people start out with millions of dollars. Some people don't start off with anything. You know what I mean? And along with like luck and your own hard work, circumstances, things work out or they don't. A lot of life is pretty random as well, like attaching ourselves to things that are completely out of our control, such as like the consequences of our actions. Like that is outside of our control. Like like be proud of the fact. I'm like proud of people that like I encourage everyone like that if there is something to focus on and actually, that is actually helpful is to focus on the action itself and not the consequences of the action. And the reason I say that is that is out of your control. For example, the only point of control you have is to flip the coin in a coin toss. You don't have control of what side the coin lands, right? And that's what every single person that I would say mostly I've ever seen in therapy. I would say like 99% of people. And I've seen all kinds of people, not just like dudes. I've seen people with autism, schizophrenia, bipolar, addicts, gambling addicts, uh, couples, anxious people, depressed people, suicidal people. And so many people focus on the consequences of their actions, not the actions in themselves, like where they have the point of control, like where you can make changes, right, to get better results. But that's it. Like that's the only thing you can focus on is the effort you put in. If you don't focus on that and you are demolished by the results, then it's going to be hard for you to move forward. Like the people I feel that I look up to that are successful in the world, like that's in I don't know if they would verbally say this, but I would imagine the reason why a lot of people are successful is they focus on what they do have control over and they keep focusing on it and keep running after it until they have some modicum of success. And the thing is, for like like there's only a handful of like very famous people on earth like you see on TV that are like known by name to everyone, right? So like it's very hard. It's very hard to be like successful and like consistent. Like there is a point of like luck as well, and like that's like the world. There's nothing. It's not fair. It's not a fair thing. But I think that's what makes me feel more than enough. Like if I'm like just doing the things that I need to do, at least I'm doing that. If I'm not even doing that, of course I'm gonna feel bad. And what you need to do to feel better about yourself is going to be completely different, right? Than everyone else. Is going to be like everyone's starting at a different place. Like when I'll see people of all ages, right? I'll see someone at 75 and they're in the lowest place they've ever been in their whole life. Like then I'll talk to someone who's like 27 and they're in the lowest place in their whole life, right? But it's not going to be forever, right? Maybe something has caused inconsistency. People get sick, people die, relationships break up. These are devastating things. Of course, they can make you feel not enough. And when you're not feeling enough, right? Like, what do people that do not feel enough do? They do things that people that don't feel enough, that's what they do, right? And what do people that do not feel enough do? Not take care of themselves, feel badly for themselves, look at other people and be jealous, envious, resentful that they made so many mistakes. Right, and I get it. Like that's a human experience. I think everyone has to go through it. I'm gonna go through it. It's gonna happen to me in the future. I'm gonna feel not enough. It happens. But like we need to limit those moments, right? If not eliminate them if we can. But I mean, I live in the real world, so things happen. Even when those things happen, like we have to reach out for support. Like we don't have to do it alone. A lot of people feel their ego really blocks them from like actually asking for help. Men and women. I would say men more often, but women too. I don't know why women are an exception. I talk to plenty of women clients and they hide their feelings to some people that, because shame is a universal thing, right? Like if you feel shameful about something, man or woman, it doesn't matter. You're going to be hiding your shit. because you don't want people to see you in a different light. Okay. So these are some of my thoughts. I thought it was like an interesting kind of thing to talk about, being enough. But yeah, I would encourage people to do the opposite. If you're not feeling enough, well, do things that will make you feel enough. Okay, it's very clear. It's like I feel like people make therapy and psychology such a huge complicated thing. It really does not have to be a complicated thing. You know, like if you're depressed, well, then do the opposite of what a depressed person would do. But like it's obviously it's not that easy. I understand. I'm acknowledging that it's not just start start a routine and just keep it consistent. Like, right, like people are in some bad spots where they can't even get out of bed, right? Like they're in bed for 3 days straight. They haven't taken a shower in a week, right? People don't even want to brush their teeth now. They have cavities, or their whole house is destroyed because they're not taking care of it for like months on end, and they're drinking to oblivion, right? But we can't be hopeless. I'm gonna say that we cannot be hopeless. We have to have some hope. We need some through line to make it through. Like I don't care how down bad you are, right? Even in those moments, we need to find the courage to ask for help, call a friend, do something to intervene, right? Like if you don't intervene with these things are only gonna ever get worse. so so that's all I have to say for this video. I did ramble a little bit. I hope it helps. Um, I'm sure I'm gonna get like criticisms or something about some of the things I'm saying. I'm a more of a person that's like take responsibility for yourself, take accountability for yourself. I'm not a pull yourself by the bootstraps person, but I'm not saying that's not a skill to have. I mean people that are on the edge of their life where they have no relationships, they have no money, file bankruptcy, no house, living in their car, right? Like in those moments, you may have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps even if you don't have no boots. Because what else option do you really have, right? I would encourage people, like, if you have a problem, to mitigate that risk by getting help from other people. Mental health. If you know you're depressed, well, then find a therapist. Call a friend. Ask someone to help you find the friend. Call a case manager. Go to the hospital. Do something. Anything to intervene, not to feel that way, right? You want to, you like what happens with these feelings a lot of times is that like when you're depressed or something, like you feed into that, right? Like you listen to sad music and you'll be in bed all day. You need to go and decide. You have to make a decision. That's the thing. You have to make choices with your life, and when you make these choices that are congruent with what you believe in, that's how you pull yourself out. But you have to keep doing it again and again every single day, like it's your job. You might not even have a job because you're so depressed you've been just at the crib all day. Anyway, that's my video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.